Have you ever, just looked at someone and instantly decided you do not like them?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Right. Like within 3 seconds, your brain has already made a full report. Friend, enemy, smart, rude.
You have not even heard them speak a single word yet.
Exactly. You do not know their name. But your mind has made this huge, concrete decision about who they are.
We all do it. I mean,
Yeah.
we all know it's a bad habit, but we just keep doing it every single day.
We really do. We let these quick visual scans decide how we treat people. So, in today's deep dive, we're going to unpack how to pull the emergency brake on that instinct.
Because it is such a natural human reflex. And to figure out how to stop it, we're looking at a really interesting source today.
Yes, a text called Beyond the Surface, The Art of Understanding Others.
And the funniest part about this source is that it is not some heavy psychology book.
No, not at all. It is actually a simple dialogue between two fictional characters, Aman and Ria.
Right. And it was originally written just to help people practice conversational English.
Exactly. It was meant to be a language lesson, just teaching basic vocabulary.
But somehow, the authors put this amazing deep lesson about emotional intelligence into a simple grammar exercise.
It is brilliant because the language is so simple so that learners can understand it. The ideas are super clear. There are no fancy academic words to hide behind.
It just breaks down the exact reasons why we judge people. It gives us the bare truth.
And we're going to take that apart piece by piece today. We will figure out why our brains love making these quick judgments.
And we will talk about the hidden battles people are fighting right in front of us, which we totally miss.
Yes. Plus, the source gives us a really easy step-by-step strategy to change our behavior, a way to actually choose empathy instead of just criticizing people.
So to start, we have to look at why we do this. The source is very direct. It says, our brains make quick opinions.
Quick opinions. I like that phrase. It is just a reflex, right? Like pulling your hand away from a hot cup of chai.
Exactly. And the text lists 5 specific things, 5 filters that our brains use to make these quick opinions.
Okay, let's hear them.
Appearance, clothes, language, profession, and social media.
Wow. Okay, those 5 filters. Looking at that list, it is like a menu of how superficial we can be.
It really is. But mechanically, it makes sense why our brains do it.
Right. Because our brains are lazy.
Well, more like overwhelmed. Think of your brain like a tired shopkeeper during Diwali rush.
Oh, that is a great example. Just hundreds of customers coming in.
Yes, and every person you meet is a complex human being. The shopkeeper cannot sit down and have a long, deep conversation with every single customer.
There's no time. The line is too long.
Exactly. So the brain just looks at the outside package. Bucket A, bucket B, bucket C. It is sorting people out.
Just to save energy. Because if you deeply analyzed every person you sat next to on the metro, your brain would shut down by 9 a.m.
Totally. You would be exhausted.
Yeah.
So the brain uses those external labels.
Mm-hmm.
And appearance and clothes are the biggest labels of all.
Because they're the fastest things we see. Light travels faster than sound.
Right. You see what they're wearing before they even say hello.
You see someone in a sharp, expensive suit. Or you see someone in old, dirty sweatpants. And your brain instantly makes a story about them.
It decides their status, how smart they are, or if they are successful.
And the crazy thing is, once your brain decides, oh, this person in the suit is smart, it ignores their mistakes.
Yes, and if you judge someone poorly because of simple clothes, you might completely ignore how kind or intelligent they actually are.
All right, it happens all the time in India, right? You go to a fancy mall or a showroom, and if you are wearing simple slippers, the sales staff might just ignore you.
That is the perfect example. They scan your clothes and decide your bank balance.
Which brings us to the next filter. Profession.
Oh, yes. Profession.
This is the classic party question. You meet someone new, and within 1 minute, they ask, so, what do you do?
They're not really asking about your daily tasks. They are asking for a barcode to scan.
A barcode. Wow, that is exactly it. They want to know where to place you in society.
They want to know your education, your income, your status. We take a whole complex human life, their dreams, their family, their hobbies, and reduce it to their job title.
Right. If you say, I'm a software engineer at a top IT firm, people treat you one way.
And if you say, I drive an auto or I work at a small shop, they treat you completely differently.
It is so unfair. Both lives are so complex, but we just use the job as a shortcut.
And if we're talking about shortcuts, we definitely have to talk about the social media filter.
Yes. The text mentioning social media is so smart because social media feels like you know the whole person.
It really does.
Yeah.
With clothes, you know you are just looking at fabric. But on Instagram, you see their family, their vacations, their food.
It feels like the complete picture.
But it is completely fake. It is a highly edited movie trailer.
Right. People only post their happiest moments. You see someone smiling on a beach in Goa and you think, wow, their life is perfect. They have no problems.
You never see the deleted scenes. You do not see them crying after an argument or worrying about paying bills.
But out of all these filters, appearance, clothes, professions, social media, the one that really caught my attention was language.
Yes, language is a big one,
Especially considering the context, this source is a dialogue for people learning English.
which makes it so special. The authors are speaking directly to the learners, saying, we know how hard this is.
I mean, think about the effort it takes to speak a second language.
It is exhausting.
You have a smart thought in Hindi, right? Then you have to hold it in your head, find the English words, remember the grammar rules, and then physically speak it out loud.
It takes so much brain power.
But how does the listener judge that effort?
The listener just hears a pause, or a broken sentence,
Uh.
or a Desi accent.
And then their quick opinion brain makes the worst assumption. They think, oh, this person speaks slowly, so they must not be very smart.
It is so tragic. It is like judging a super fast computer just because the keyboard is a little sticky.
Oh, I love that comparison. The person has amazing ideas, but the output mechanism, the new language, is just taking a second.
And because they are trying so hard to find the right words, they might forget to smile or make polite small talk.
Right, so then the other person thinks, wow, they are so rude and cold.
Exactly. Just because of language, they get thrown into the unfriendly bucket.
So if we know we're using these bad filters, clothes, language, social media, what is the reality we are missing?
Well, the text says it very simply. First impressions are not always correct.
And it gives such relatable examples from daily life.
Yes. It says someone might seem rude, but actually they're just stressed.
Or they seem quiet, but they're just shy.
The characters, Aman and Ria, actually laugh about this in a section called The Funny Example.
I remember that. Aman asks if Ria has ever thought someone was unfriendly and then later found out they were just shy.
And she says yes, it happens all the time.
But why is that so common? Why do we confuse shy with rude?
Because physically they look the same. Think about it. If someone is very shy or anxious at a party, what do?
They do not make eye contact. They look at their phone.
Right. They give short, one-word answers, they cross their arms and stand in the corner.
And our brain scans those actions, no eye contact, short answers, and decides, this person has so much attitude, they think they are better than me.
Exactly. We take their internal fear and we make it about our ego. We think they are insulting us.
Wow. We just make it all about ourselves.
To stop this ego, the source gives us the most important quote of the whole deep dive.
Let me guess. Be kind because everyone is fighting a battle you cannot see.
That is the one. It is a very heavy concept.
It is. But let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
The text says the person acting rude is just stressed fighting an invisible battle. But come on, some people are just bad-mannered, right?
Sure.
If an auto driver cuts me off in traffic and yells at me, or a coworker insults me in a meeting, should I just say, oh, they must be stressed? Is that not just excusing bad behavior?
That is a really fair point.
Yeah.
But the source is not telling you to become a weak person and let people insult you.
Okay. Then what is it saying?
It is asking you to realize the difference between how you see yourself and how you see strangers. Think of it like a theater play.
A play? How so?
When it comes to your own life, you have backstage access. You know everything that is happening behind the curtain.
Right. I know if I slept badly, or if I have a headache, or if I just fought with a friend.
Exactly. So when you go out on stage and accidentally speak rudely to a colleague, you forgive yourself immediately.
Because I know I am not a bad person. I am just having a bad day. I know the full story.
Yes. But when you look at a stranger, you do not have backstage access. You only see them on stage for 5 seconds.
And in those 5 seconds, they yell at me.
Right. And because you do not know their backstage story, your brain assumes that this 5-second rude behavior is their permanent personality.
I see. I assume they yell at people every day because they're an awful person.
So that quote, everyone is fighting a battle you cannot see, is a tool. It is a reminder that everyone has a messy backstage that you are locked out of.
It stops my brain from just assuming they are evil.
Exactly. And we need to realize what these invisible battles actually look like in real life.
Yeah, they are usually very normal, quiet things.
It could be someone dealing with back pain all day, or worrying about their child's exam results.
Or they're scared of losing their job.
Yes. People carry these heavy, invisible weights around all day, and sometimes the weight slips, and they get frustrated, And that frustration looks like a scowl directed at you.
And my quick opinion brain sees the scowl and wants to fight back.
But the text is demanding that we stop that reaction. We have to accept that we do not know the full story.
Okay, understanding that philosophically is great, but in real life, when someone scowls at me, my blood pressure still goes up. I still get angry.
It is a biological reaction.
Right, so how do we actually change our behavior in that exact moment?
The source gives a very practical two-part protocol. It calls it practice empathy.
Empathy. That is a big word. How does it define it?
It defines empathy as trying to understand another person's feelings. And the word trying is very important here.
Because it takes effort. It is not automatic.
Exactly. It's like a mental workout.
Yeah.
And to help you do this workout, the text gives you 2 actual questions to ask yourself when you feel angry at someone.
Okay, what is the first question?
What if I were in their situation?
Putting myself in their shoes.
Yes. And the second question is where the real magic happens. What challenges might they be facing?
Oh, that is so practical. Instead of just trying to be nice, which is vague, my brain has a job to do. It has a question to answer.
Right. It forces your brain to stop judging and start imagining. Let's use a daily example. Imagine you go to a chai stall
Okay, I am at the chai stall.
and you ask for a cup of tea and the person just aggressively bangs the cup on the counter, spills some of it, and does not even look at you.
My first reaction, what a rude guy. I am paying you. Show some respect. My ego gets hurt.
Now, force the manual override. Ask the question, what challenges might he be facing?
Okay, let my imagination work. Maybe he has been standing near that hot stove since 4 a.m.
Good. What else?
Maybe a customer just scammed him out of 50 rupees. Or maybe he is worried about paying his rent tomorrow and his mind is completely distracted.
And how do you feel about him now?
Honestly, the anger is gone. Even if I just imagine one of those things, I feel bad for him.
You do not even need to know if your story is true. Just the act of imagining his backstage life stops your judgment.
It really works like a circuit breaker.
It does.
Yeah.
But the text does not stop there. It gives a second step that is actually focused on you, not the stranger.
Right. This part really surprised me when I read it. It says, instead of criticizing others, focus on your own growth. Spend less time judging and more time improving yourself.
It feels like a sudden change of topic, doesn't it?
Totally. We were talking about empathy and suddenly it sounds like a self-help book. Why did they connect judging strangers to my personal growth?
Because they both use the exact same mental energy. It's like a magnifying glass.
Okay, explain the magnifying glass.
When you judge other people, you are pointing the magnifying glass outward. You are looking at their bad clothes, their poor English, their mistakes.
It is so easy to do that.
It is easy, and it gives you a fake sense of confidence.
What do you mean by fake sense of confidence?
Well, if I decide that your job is small, and your clothes are cheap, and your Instagram is fake, I suddenly feel much better about my own life.
Oh, wow.
I do not actually have to achieve anything to feel successful. I just have to convince myself that you are a failure. I make you smaller so I can feel taller.
That is a harsh truth. So judging people is just a distraction. It stops us from fixing our own problem.
Exactly. It is a procrastination tool. The authors want you to turn that magnifying glass into a mirror.
Turn it inward.
Yes. Take all that energy you spend criticizing strangers and use it to fix your own life. Because when you actually try to improve yourself, you realize how incredibly hard it is.
Oh, absolutely. If I spend months just trying to wake up early or trying to stop eating junk food and I keep failing,
You suddenly realize that being a human is difficult.
right, and then I have so much more patience for everyone else. If I know I cannot even control my own diet, who am I to judge the guy who makes a mistake in his English?
Exactly. Self-improvement creates humility, and humility destroys judgment. You literally will not have the time or energy to judge strangers if you are busy working on yourself.
That is such a complete solution. Use the empathy questions in the moment and work on yourself in the long run.
But the authors are also very realistic. They know that in real life, we get tired, we get hungry.
And when we are tired, the quick opinion brain takes over again.
Right. We need really fast ways to interrupt the judgment. So they give us a list of useful English phrases.
Mental shortcuts.
Exactly. Let's look at the phrases they suggest.
Okay, the first one is, don't judge a book by its cover. Next is, everyone has their own journey.
Then, try to understand before judging.
Nobody is perfect. And the last one is, seek understanding, not judgment.
Now, tell me, what did you think when you read Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover?
Honestly, I thought it was a bit silly. It is such an old cliche. We have heard it a million times since school. Why is such a deep text using such a basic phrase?
It is a cliche for a very good reason. It is incredibly efficient.
Efficient.
Yes. Remember, your brain's judgment reflex happens in 1 second. If someone bumps into you on the local train, you do not have 10 minutes to sit down and run a deep empathy protocol.
Right. I just instantly think, what an idiot.
You need a tool that works just as fast as the anger. You need a prepackaged phrase that requires zero brain power to remember.
Ah, I see.
When the anger flares up, you just mentally say, "Don't judge a book by its cover." It immediately stops the reaction. It gives you a 3-second pause to breathe.
It stops the train from crashing. It is like a mental placeholder.
Exactly. And out of all these phrases, there is one that really acts like the main lesson of the whole text.
Seek understanding, not judgment.
Yes. Putting those two words next to each other, understanding and judgment, shows us two completely different ways to live. Well, judgment is closed. Is the end of the story.
Right. If I say, that guy is lazy, boom, the file is closed.
Exactly. You stop observing. You just look for evidence to prove you were right. But understanding is open.
Because it is a question.
Yes. When you seek understanding, you are being curious. You are admitting, okay, I see this person acting weird, but my information is incomplete.
I leave the file open on my desk. I wait for more clues.
And it changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
If you judge someone, you are looking down on them like a strict teacher.
But if I seek to understand them, I am standing next to them, trying to figure out their world.
Exactly. And the text says, people are deeper than their appearances. You can never see that depth if you close the file in 3 seconds.
You only see the depth if you stay curious.
So we have really taken this whole concept apart today.
We did. We started with how our brains use visual filters like clothes and social media to make snap judgments.
We talked about how those filters completely miss the invisible backstage battles everyone is fighting.
We went through the manual override, asking what challenges they're facing, and turning the magnifying glass inward to focus on our own growth.
And finally, we looked at the mental circuit breakers, those simple phrases that remind us to choose curiosity over judgment.
It is a lot to process. But as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to bring it back to the original setting of the text.
Right, the English learning aspect.
Yes, because at the very end of the dialogue, Aman and Ria give one final piece of advice about learning English.
Aman says, "You don't need perfect English."
And Ria replies, just consistency.
That is such a beautiful double meaning.
It really is. They are giving you the secret to learning a language, but it is also the exact secret to building empathy.
Because trying to stop judging people is really hard. You are going to mess up.
Definitely. Tomorrow, someone's going to cut you in line and you are going to forget all about their invisible battles and you're going to call them a jerk in your head.
You are not going to be perfectly empathetic every single time.
But perfection is not the goal. If you try to be perfect, you will just give up.
The goal is consistency.
It is just waking up the next day, realizing you judged someone too quickly, and trying again. Consistently using the phrases. Consistently trying to keep the file open.
Over time, that consistency will literally change the way your brain works. You will become a kinder person naturally.
It just takes quiet, daily repetition.
So true.
To leave you with a final thought, we want to try an exercise inspired by the source material. We spent all this time talking about how you view other people. Now we want you to think about yourself.
Right. Think back to a very specific memory where someone judged you too quickly.
A time when someone looked at your outside package and totally misunderstood who you were.
Maybe you wore simple clothes to a nice place and you felt people looking down on you.
Or maybe you were struggling to speak English and you saw the other person roll their eyes, assuming you were not smart.
Or maybe you were fighting a huge invisible battle at home and you made a mistake at work and your boss just called you lazy.
Find that memory in your head right now. Remember exactly how that felt.
How did that unfair judgment feel in your chest?
Hold on to that feeling. Remember how much it hurt to be completely misunderstood, because here is our challenge for you today.
Take that memory and use it as a lens.
Exactly. How can remembering your own pain of being judged change the way you look at the very next stranger you meet today?